Batman. Good luck, Harry Potter.
Well, cover me with eggs and flour and bake me for 40 minutes.
Hello, and welcome to ScreenMasters with me, Bav.
And me, Fluff.
We're back. Hello. It's been a while, hasn't it? Some things have happened. We may give you a yes, indeed, as the great Stained once said. So, we are back. We are going again, because I don't know about Fluff, but I certainly missed this. And we've been meeting up in the pub on a Saturday every now and then and thinking, you know what? This is the reason we used to record this stuff, because there's some good stuff here. So we're going to have another go. What it means for you guys is that on a monthly basis, you will get an episode. We will attempt to release at the beginning of every month. We have changed the way we do things in the back to try and make sure that life getting in the way disrupts us as little as possible.
Not like I moved this week.
Exactly. So well done there, Fluff. Moving into a new house and still found time to record this episode. So yes, welcome to 2026. It's January. It's the start of a new year. And essentially this episode, we're just going to sit and have a bit of a chat and a catch up. And then from that point, we will return to our usual cadence of a movie episode and then a TV episode cycling through. But we reserve the right that should the research into a particular episode require more time, you may just get a half an hour, 40-minute catch-up episode on no particular topic, or we might dig into the bank of topics that we can talk a bit more, a bit more off the cuff about that require a bit less research. But the key is we want to remain consistent with the releases. So if the way we get an episode to you every month is that we fall back on a less researched episode for that month, that's the way it'll do it, because we'd rather release something consistently for you. So yeah, how have you been? Clearly, you've moved house this week, so that's quite a big thing.
Yeah, buying a house, moving into a house, dealing with the stress of that. It is stressful. Anybody who's done it, fair play to you. It's a stressful pain in the arse. From going from rented to a purchased house. So, you then got to deal with all the cleaning of the rental, and then you move into your new house and it's a shit pile because the person who lived here before didn't really treat it very well. But Chilling HQ Mark 5, are we on now?
Is it 5?
I think it's
something like that. It's got to be, isn't
something
it?
like that, yeah. So Chilling HQ Mark 5 is up and running now. Up and running for business.
It's very nice. It's very nice.
So my setup is good to go now. I moved in one day. The next day, my internet's installed. Priorities in this day and age are completely different to what they were. So I needed to make sure that I was ready to go.
Don't matter.
Yeah,
as long as you got internet,
water.
that's all that matters.
I've got running water. I've got heat. I've finally got heat, ladies and gentlemen. You'll no longer hear the chattering of my teeth while I'm trying to record a pod because it was so freaking cold in my last place. So yeah, success, joy, new year, joy, and all that kind of palaver. Oh God, yeah, it's just going to be nice. It's moving forward, positive change. Not that I can necessarily say the world is heading that way, but that's what we're not going to be discussing. That's why we're here. Escapism. Let's talk about the shit that we've been watching for the last few years, because it's been a minute. It's been a minute.
It has been a minute.
I've got something that's coming, ladies and gentlemen, that will give us the idea is exactly what we've missed. But yeah, there's been a lot. There's been a lot of good, but there's also been a lot of bad. I think, in this day and age, we're even more greedy for good stuff, but we're also just as bad when it comes to the bad, that we will slag it off like no end.
Exactly.
But I've just tried to avoid the bad from now on. Like I just, it's like watching the Minecraft movie and thinking that it was worth the shit. And you speak to a child and they'll tell you it's the greatest goddamn thing that's come out in the last 10 years. Come on.
Yeah, no.
Come on.
Yeah, we're both Minecraft fans. I fucking hated it, but there you go.
Yeah. So one of the
kids liked it. I don't think it was for me.
That's the thing. At the end of the day, some films are going to go to the box office and they're going to draw people in, just as Barbenheimer did back in 2023.
Bloody hell, was that 2023? Fucking
that
hell.
was 2023, back in 2020. Yeah, July 2023. So we've missed the Barbenheimers, mate, and just think about that. That pulled in some serious big
That was a
numbers.
crazy summer, wasn't it, Barbenheimer?
It was.
The cinemas were just packed, absolutely packed. They need another one. What's it going to be next year? Because obviously we're staring down the barrel of the Odyssey.
We are
in July. I wonder what we're going to end up with at that point.
Well, it's whether anybody is sensible enough to look at Barbenheimer. I say it like that, but that's what people were calling it because there were people that
it was
were going
the summer of
to see
Barbenheimer. You're absolutely right.
the polar opposite films, Barbie and bloody Oppenheimer. I mean, one was kind of the popular award, so to speak, and one literally won all the awards. Which, I mean, we're both Nolan fans. If it hadn't have done, I think, I'd have flipped the. Well, I wouldn't have flipped the table. I've just moved in. But I mean, that having seen Oppenheimer, knowing that he's doing the Odyssey, you just think, anybody who's got any sense at this point with Nolan just let him do what he wants. Just give him the money.
I think the
and let him do
studios
what he
have
wants.
realised that, haven't they?
Yeah, just. But we've also seen the falling down and then rebuilding of the DCU.
Indeed.
Under James Gunn.
Yes.
So we've seen some big change there, and now we're going to see more seismic changes because, as it currently stands, Netflix are about to buy Warner Brothers.
Yes,
so
indeed.
More
That was
turmoil. I mean,
announced recently, wasn't it? I'm worried. I'm really worried. It could be the end of Hollywood cinema, couldn't it? But I hope it's not that bad.
It's well, I mean, they need to do something realistically, because I've looked at the pickings for this year's films and it ain't been great. If I'm being utterly honest, I have not had a huge inclination this year, particularly.
Yeah.
Aside from one or two films, which, Superman, Fantastic Four, for example.
Yeah.
Thunderbolts. Okay, so we had a few of our Marvel films because we kind of had a break last year. But I haven't really seen anything fresh, anything new, anything non-bloody franchise related.
Yeah,
for example.
I know what you mean. I have got I've got
there's
one
a
or two
couple
that are non-franchise that I'll discuss, but like you say,
I mean,
we are in the age of franchise cinema. That's the way
I
would put it.
think it's hard to invest in some of the films that are coming out now because they come with a lot of baggage, and sometimes I just want to go and see a film. I remember those days of it was I'm just going to pick a Minority Reports, or just little films that just didn't need a sequel. It's okay, your crazy Tom Cruise action film. We got that. We got a couple of them with Mission Impossible, and we'll get to those. But it was a big franchise. Like I'm missing the one-offs. I do find I'm reverting back to my 80s, 90s cinema head where not every film needed to have a franchise. Not every film needed to have a sequel.
Correct.
Good film is a good film.
I also, at this age of, we need more lore. There has to be an explanation for this, that, and the other. We've seen the Disney go back and do live action versions of films based on villains, so that you understand why the villain was the way they was, and you feel sorry for them and stuff. And just part of me goes, give me a two-dimensional baddie. Sometimes, I don't need to know that they were abused as a child and that's why they're a twat.
Bad people could be bad people.
My example is always Joker. They've tried over the years. Some people have tried to explain why Joker is the way he is. I still go back to The Dark Knight. In that film, he tells like 3 different stories as to how he got his scars. I don't need to know why he is the way he is. He is a force of chaos, and that is absolutely fine. The line in that film where he's like, I'm a dog chasing a car. If I caught it, I wouldn't know what to do with it. You know, I'm not a planner. I just do shit. I just want to cause chaos, and he is the ultimate man that wants to see the world burn for no other reason than it would entertain him. You know, he wouldn't be bored if that happened, and sometimes that is absolutely fine. You know, if you're going on to one of the ones I was going to mention, obviously in the time we've been off, the Predator franchise has been completely rebooted from the ground up by Dan Trachtenberg. We've had Prey, we've had Predator Killer of Killers, the animated anthology one that was on Disney Plus, and then Predator Badlands last year in the cinemas. And Prey, I love. Great Predator movie set in Native American times. And again, Dan Trachtenberg, I've listened to interviews with him, and he says a lot of his ideas were sort of him and his mates in the car on the way back from watching the original Predator. You know, like, what would happen if the Predator landed in Native America? What would happen if the Predators went back to different periods in history? What would happen if the Predator was actually being hunted? So, like, flip it on its head, and now the hunter is the hunted. And he's done that with all of these different movies. But particularly Predator Badlands, it starts, and it's got this word on the screen that's YAUJTIA, I think it is. And they say it Yautja. Do you know what a Yautja is?
I would try and make a joke, but I feel like I could offend somebody in this day and age, so I'm going to defer and say
you not
no.
wanting to offend people on this? Okay,
I'm like I
change.
said, it's a new year. I am trying to grow. It doesn't always work.
Hey,
my
as long as we keep trying.
My mouth still kind of opens and says things of its own volition at times. I can't help that. It's just. You'd rather me be me than
That's it,
but I'm trying to do better.
People tune in for you. That's why we tune in.
And also we could get cancelled real quickly.
Yeah, we could get cancelled real quick
so,
these days. But again,
yeah.
I'm sure in the 49 episodes we previously did, they could probably dig those up and cancel us.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. Very true.
But yeah, Yautja. No idea, I assume, what a Yautja is.
Not a clue.
Yautja is the name of the species that predators are. And I saw it on screen and went, I don't know what that fucking word means. And I'm a huge Predator fan. I don't think they've ever told us they're called Yautja. I think it's a comic book,
predators.
Graphic novel lore thing that it's been introduced.
They're predators.
But Predator Badlands is the one I think that you either get on board with or you don't, because it's funny. And there's actually a part where the Predator makes a joke. And I'm like, I'm not sure I want the Predator to make a joke, actually.
Well, you've got they're not all just homicidal killing machines. Some of them have a heart.
Well, this is the funny thing that I've heard other people talking about. There's a reviewer that I really like called Darren Mooney, who's an Irish guy, and he was talking about it and saying, like, is there like a Predator cleanup crew? Like, after they have all the arena battles, which is something you see in Killer of Killers, is there like a lower class of Predator who come out and clear up all the mess? Like, are there Predators who stay home with the kids and cook dinner? Like, when you start to expand a world like this, you start to ask those questions. You know, who is doing this? Who is doing that? Who's building all these things, you know? Is there a societal structure behind it? And then the more I go into that, the more I'm like, I don't want to know. I just want them to be hunters who just go out for the thrill of the hunt. I thought that's what it was, you know? So I can see that Predator Badlands is probably very divisive, and it also leans very heavily into the alien lore. Wayland Yutani is splashed all over Predator Badlands. Like, to the degree where the third act, it looks like a Predator's walked onto an alien set in the third act. It's nuts.
Well, they've, with the series that they did, Alien Earth.
Yep, which I thought was very good. Really
good. Having watched Deadwood, and while we've been on the break, I've cut through most of Justified as well, so I love me a bit of Timothy Oliphant. So to see that crazy white-haired sumbitch in that was entertaining, but as we all know, I am not one for the horror-y stuff and the
Indeed.
jumps and the scares. So no, I took a pass on that one. However,
I can't look at a sheep the same way after that series. That's one thing I'll say.
however, like you say, they are now. It's that thing of in Hollywood now. It does certainly appear as though there are a number of intelligent, creative people that are being given the opportunities of certain series or certain franchises that are actually being given the ball and told run with it, and they do quite well. And it looks as though with the Predator and Alien franchises being so intertwined as they are, that there's been a bit of a resurgence in both.
Yep.
But they've also been critically and commercially successful for the first time in a hell of a long time.
Yeah, well, Predator Badlands is the most successful, most profitable Predator movie ever released.
Well, that's
thing,
quite a thing.
I think the point I would make on it is, for me, I enjoyed Badlands for the ride, but its tone did trip me up a couple of times. But I don't like we were just saying, I don't mind you having a go. You know, all those cool ideas about what might happen, try it. Some of them will work, some of them won't, but at least you're having a go. At least you're not just making the same Predator movie over and over again, you know? I don't mind them having a go, and like you say, they won't these days. Because movies cost $200, $300, $400 million, whatever it is, they won't take a risk on $400 million unless your name's Christopher Nolan. You know? So they aren't going to take a chance on the ones who want to push the boundaries and give it a go at this experimental way of doing something. That's the stuff you get in the indie space still, largely these days, you know? They're the ones that are experimenting and trying something new. So that's what I would say about Dan Trachtenberg. Whether all his stuff hits for me or not, I at least appreciate that he's trying to step outside the normal confines of what he's doing.
So, keeping with that theme of the world building and the differences and the changes, there's been a number of Star Wars series that have been within the last few years as well. We've had the final second season of Andor, which, I mean,
amazing,
you know,
amazing,
truly fantastic, and it's
on so many levels as well.
You watch that, and it is, as you say, about, you know, putting $400 million into an individual film, and they've put that equivalent into this series. And if you break down the way that the series is shot, it feels like 3 films. Yeah, and once you get to the end of the third film, it dovetails perfectly into Rogue One, and I know because I did it.
Yeah, same here. I did exactly the same thing. I finished Andor, I put Rogue One on.
Yeah,
straight away.
I finished Andor, and I sat there and got the emotions and all the feels for everything, and then I watched Rogue One, and I got more of an emotion and more of a feels because it had been a while since I'd seen it. But where we get the greatness of Andor, we got a bit of a quirky series with Skeleton Crew.
Yeah,
which
I didn't think I was going to like that, but I came out largely positive.
Yeah, I think it was that one where I was like, is this more aimed at kids than it is at adults? And I think it was to a certain degree, but it was also a bit of like, remember why you enjoyed Star Wars? It was fun, and it was a bit silly, and it was a bit spacey, but it had a bit of a serious undertone. Yeah. And you kind of get a lot of the feels and a lot of funness.
Totally. I describe it as Goonies in space. You know?
Yeah, exactly. It's that, having Nick Frost in
you
it.
And your kids, you and your mates on an adventure with, like you say, Nick Frost doing the robot who's sort of leading them along the way, and then Jude Law's sort of, am I a baddie?
I'm never a huge Jude Law fan, but I think the role and the person that did that actually kind of went well. It wasn't.
Yeah, I think it was right for him. He did well at it.
So again, and you think, you know, the young, one of the young kids from that is now the new Vampire Slayer in the new Buffy series, for example. So,
yeah, exactly.
Well done. I thought she was good in that. And to see some of these people go on and do other successful things is great. But we also got, sadly, a series that I didn't like. And I'm not going to sit here and shit all over it because, again, I've grown. I'm not going to, there's no point in me sitting here on a 2-hour rant like we did after...
the entire Star Wars sequel trilogy episode is essentially that, isn't it?
Ladies and gentlemen, go back and listen to me ranting about that. I was so pissed off. But again, The Acolyte was not for me. It seemed to present itself as a series that it really wasn't. Let's put Carrie-Anne Moss, that person from The Matrix that everybody knows. Let's put her in this series. Yet she's dead in 2 minutes.
Yeah, They tried to do the Sean Bean Game of Thrones thing, didn't they?
And while I liked elements of it, and Daphne Keane, and there was some elements of it that were intriguing. But I knew who the villain was within about 2 minutes of watching it.
That was the most signposted bullshit right from the off. And then, because as it was going through, I was like, do not tell me that you're going to try and make a twist out of who this guy is, because you have signposted it so blatantly from the beginning that you better not be hinging this whole thing on me not of picking up on what your twist. And what do? They get to the end, they reveal the twist, and I'm like, yeah, that wasn't a twist.
Yeah, that wasn't a twist.
That was what you've told me since scene 1, episode 1. Was
a lot of the story simply didn't make sense. The acting was bad. I'm not going to sit here and say great acting for all around. It wasn't, because you can see the people that are good in it, and then you see the people that are bad. And because you see good people, you really notice the bad people.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It wasn't a great series. And what cracked me up more, they wanted to do The Acolyte, and they wanted to touch on this little period which essentially set up Palpatine to a certain degree. Because guess what?
Yeah.
That's kind of the missing thing. Who was Plagueis, which is Palpatine's master. Okay, that's great. We're going to show you a 2-second clip of a guy hiding in a cave, which makes no fucking sense because he's a goddamn Sith master. Why is he hiding in a fucking wet, damp cave watching these 2 kids? The most pointless thing. But he looked cool, and for 2 seconds in that whole show, you kind of went, ooh.
Yeah.
But that was a very expensive show.
Yeah,
for
and it went fucking nowhere.
Yeah, whereas
2-second cameo for nothing in the end.
So I appreciate that they are giving people opportunities to try stuff, but at other times I do wonder, can you finish a script first? Because we hear it all the time with some of the Marvel films that have come
Marvel
out,
stuff
and
particularly, yeah.
I think again we saw a couple of them this year together, and I know for a fact Captain America was just a colossal pissing disappointment.
Yeah.
You have taken on the mantle of Captain America. Do you know what we had we had the first Avenger, which not everybody loves it. We know our personal friend Dave does really not like it.
It's a period piece at the end of the day.
It's a period piece.
It does, some people don't like, but again, from when Marvel were doing something interesting, I'm not going to do a superhero movie. I'm going to do a World War II movie featuring this character. We're going to do a heist movie featuring this character. We're going to do a high fantasy epic featuring this character. That's what they did in those early phases, was here's a genre, which character fits that genre nicely? Let's do that.
So we had the first Avenger, then we had the Winter Soldier, and then we had Civil War. So, I mean, again, the middle one is by far the best of the bunch for me.
I agree. I think so.
But from going from that to Brand New Day, Brand New World, and the disappointing, lackluster bunch of crap that it was. I mean, Harrison Ford at this point is just like, give me, I don't care. Give me the money and I'll be a weird CGI monster. I don't care. Yeah, he's got no morals at this point. He doesn't give 2 shits about what is good or bad for him. But his performance isn't bad. The script is. The whole goddamn story was bad. The fact that
when you read into it, and the bits towards the end with Tim Blake Nelson, the shots where he appeared with his hood up, he's got like a hood and dark glasses on. Yeah, that's because they needed him for reshoots, and he was like, well, I'm not spending all that fucking time in the chair to do it. You can do my face, and I'll put a fucking hood up.
Yeah.
And so that's why he suddenly changes and looks different.
You see, some of the initial artwork that he could have looked like, and you go, wow. And then you see what he ended up looking like, and you go, ugh. So, and then they suddenly go, oh, well, this is the new phase. So we had Thunderbolts, which was an improvement. I very much enjoyed the team, very much enjoyed.
I did. I really liked the end.
Interactions. Yeah.
Because I thought we were building up to a big CGI smashy, and then actually it totally rug pulls and does something quite meaningful, like quite poignant.
The first time they've really tackled mental health in any way, kind of shape or form. So we've had that, but we've also had Deadpool and Wolverine, which was
of course,
a colossal, crazy fucking. It was one of the biggest films of last year, 2024. Christ, I lose times.
Yeah,
I'm losing time as to when everything's actually been out. Time is a construct
of human perception.
It's true. And again, hugely successful. I'm not going to sit here and say everything about that film was amazing, because there's still niggle bits for, I am who I am if I don't. But I also got to see Hugh Jackman as Age of Apocalypse Wolverine. Fucking hell yeah.
That's it. I really enjoyed it in the cinema because I think I was in the hype. Watching it after time has passed, it's not a very good film actually. If you're a fan, it drags you along for the ride, and yes, it's knockabout silly fun. But actually, not really a very good film when you start to break it down and pick, you can pick quite a few holes in things. And so, like you say, it hopes that you're just along for the ride and you won't look too carefully at it as you're going along.
Yeah. Which is fine, because it's, it still feels part of the Deadpool story. It's not the best film. I always found that the first film, because of being able to be fresh and new and do some of the things that they were doing then, was great. And some of the best parts of that film isn't him riffing, it's some of the weird shots that they managed to do. And then the second one suddenly embraced the craziness. The third one more so, and it's enjoyable, and it's cool to see some fun cameos, and having Wesley Snipes back as Blade. I mean, we're of the generation that Blade started it all. Fuck anybody else. Fuck X-Men. Fuck everything else. Blade started it all.
Yeah,
it was the first of the successful superhero films. Because
in the time we've been off, they put Blade back in the cinema, didn't they? And I went to see it at our RIP Odeon. Our local cinema shut down while we've been away as well. But yeah, I went to see it at the cinema and came out, and a guy, obviously one of his friends worked there, and he came out of the same screening, and his mate was like, oh, what was it like? And he was like, yeah, it wasn't great, blah, blah, blah. And as I overheard them talking, I just turned around and went, you don't know you're born. I was like, in 1998, mate, that was the shit. That was the absolute shit back in 1998, and I still fucking love it now. One of my favourite lines in cinema is still, some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill. Fucking love that line.
So, yeah, we've seen the ups and downs of Marvel, and
indeed,
we've got, I'd say, a very good up in Fantastic Four. It was, I think there's people that'll have come out of it and won't have scratch that itch for them necessarily, but I still think it was well directed.
Yes,
it was.
I agree.
The production of it was beautiful. The amount of times that I lost myself in
the world,
the background scenery, or the actual, the machines that they were using, and how they put all this together. I mean, the production design was truly fantastic.
I agree. Yeah.
The script was decent. It's hard to do a Fantastic Four story and not hit the certain beats that we need to hit. But we also got a bit of depth of Johnny Storm for the first time. Like, he actually was smarter than he's always been portrayed to be. Ben didn't really do a great deal. He genuinely just kind of moped after Natasha Lyonne's character, and I only know that because your daughter was like, "Woo!" in the cinema when we were watching
that's it, when
and she was like, "Yeah, it's my favorite part of the film." Okay, I was not going to tackle that conversation. I'm smarter than that. But again, Reed was different. I mean, Pedro, bless him. Pedro has been through the ringer and then some in Hollywood of late. He speaks a lot, but he acts in a lot, and still loved me a bit of Pedro. And he was a good Reed, but he wasn't a great Reed. And Vanessa Kirby was decent as Sue Storm, but again wasn't amazing. She brought it. I mean, she was better than Jessica Alba, for the crap's sake. I mean,
I don't think her character was served particularly well. If you actually look at what she does in the film, a lot of her motivations and stuff is based around her being pregnant and her having a child.
Yeah,
it's all very, very female. And whether that's good or bad, I'll leave you to decide, audience. But I don't think she was particularly well served as a broad character. I think it was right. Here's your niche. This is what you're going to do. I will say, watching it a second time, I didn't like it as much as I did the first. The problem with it is by far and away the best Fantastic Four film we've seen in our lifetime. But that is the very essence of damning with faint praise. Because, you couldn't get a lower bar to try and clear than making a good Fantastic Four movie. And I speak as someone who does have a soft spot for Rise of the Silver Surfer, the old Tim Story one in the noughties, but I'd never try and defend it as an actually good movie. I just, for some reason, I like it.
I think the other thing that annoyed me a little bit is because of the anticipation and everybody going batshit crazy over the fact that during the time that we've been away, if you've not noticed, they're paying the Russo brothers and Robert Downey Jr. collectively around $200 million fucking dollars to star in and direct the next Avengers film. Before it's even been shot, you've just you've just spunked $200 million before you've started doing anything else.
Production budgets, marketing budgets, none of that.
That's the bit that sticks in my craw a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I think it's a bit of fucking ridiculous that they're like, we need to draw some big directors who their last big successful film, realistically, was the last Avengers film. The stuff they've released on Netflix has not really done very well at all. It's been viewed, but it's not done the big numbers that it has. So,
no, I mean, The Electric State was kind of a flop, wasn't it? It wasn't really well reviewed. I didn't particularly enjoy it. And what was the one before that? It was it Ryan Gosling and Grey Man, wasn't it? That's it. Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans, wasn't it? And that was all right as a.
It was serviceable.
It was a half decent thriller, but there was nothing special about it. I wouldn't have said.
No, and the fact that they were so worried that they spunked all this money to draw these guys back, and Downey Jr. is back, but I'm going to be Doom instead, and then it just feels like they, shoehorn some things in just to do. Okay, well, we need to do Fantastic Four because we need to shoehorn them in so that they've got a relationship with Doom, and then we're going to put something at the end of Thunderbolts, even though it doesn't really fit, and then we're, as opposed to having it used to be where it bounced from one film to the next and it kind of picked up the thread, we're not really doing that, and I've just kind of a bit like I agree.
Supposedly the post-credit sequences will matter because they were shot by the Russos. Both of the one for Thunderbolts and the one for Fan 4. So the suspicion is that they are actually scenes from Doomsday that they've put into the movie. That they've put at the end of those movies, supposedly.
It feels like there was a number of characters and whatnot that were built up and they've just brushed them to the side. They kind of shat all over them.
That's a huge problem.
Brie Larson got absolutely shat all over as Captain Marvel. She never really seemed to get the break, that the opportunity to kind of prove herself. Shang-Chi just was fantastic when it came out.
Where's the second one?
Where's your sequel? Drop the ball again there. Let's do that Hawkeye series. That was really well received. Okay, Jeremy Renner has a horrible accident. Okay, yeah, that's fine. But we're still not going to give him any more money to do a second season. In fact, we want to give him less money than we did for the first, because we're Disney and we're greedy bastards. Yeah. So yeah, there's issues still, I feel. And just throwing money, directors, and 1 star at something, we will see whether it fixes things.
Exactly. It worked once. We'll see whether it works again. But like you say, what they're forgetting is that newness. Iron Man worked because no one was expecting that. You know, who the fuck was Iron Man before that? Spider-Man people knew, of course, but Iron Man wasn't a household name. And they took a chance on it. And again, like you said at the beginning, you know, they went into that film without a finished script and sort of made some shit up on the fly as they were going. And it worked. As they happened for these. And unfortunately, they went, oh, that worked. We'll do it again. And it's like, no, guys, you captured lightning in a bottle. You had the right director, the right star, who has the charisma to carry that sort of more improv stuff. You know, not everyone is going to be capable of that.
I mean, I think people forget as well that as much as, you know, we all love a bit of RDJ and we go, oh yeah, it's great. Not only did he appear and star as Iron Man, he was also Dr. Dolittle, right? Can we still remember that he was star of one of the worst films of the last decade?
Yes.
So his accent in that is truly atrocious. His acting
is supposed to be Welsh or something, isn't he?
truly atrocious. So as much as we're all like, oh yeah, he's going to come in and sweep and save the day, he's proved time and again that that's not always the case. So time will tell. So moving along from the Marvel bandwagon, let's maybe jump ship and see what's all happening on the other shoe, the DC shoe.
Indeed. So yeah, what were we? 4? Are we 4 releases into it now? Because I count it from the Suicide Squad basically, because that's canon. So it's the Suicide Squad, season 1 of Peacemaker, Creature Commandos, Superman, season 2 of Peacemaker. So we're 5, I would say, 5 things in. And yeah, I mixed bag for me. I didn't really get on well with Creature Commandos. No. Peacemaker's fabulous. Love Peacemaker, both seasons. I think they're amazing. How he manages to mix the complete insanity, absurdity, humour, and then spin on a sixpence and suddenly you are feeling things. I think is very impressive, and we know he's a master at that. Again, I'd look at Guardians of the Galaxy 3, you know? It's still a fun Guardians movie, but it has that undercurrent of proper, you know, animal abuse and nastiness and being treated badly. You know, it's got this real abuse and trauma undertone to it. But it still manages to maintain the fun, excitement, adventure spirit of a Guardians movie. So we know he's good at that. So yeah, Superman. I liked Superman. I liked it. I think it's James Gunn being mainstream. I don't think it's as James Gunn as I want it to be. I think he's playing to the audience, playing to the crowd, which absolutely do that. You know, that was his first cinematic release for his new universe. I totally understand why you might play to a slightly broader audience. Totally get that. So it's just that being a Gunn fan, I like it when he leans into being a bit more James Gunn, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I know for a fact, having spoken to you and one of our long-time listeners who I'd informed that the show was coming back, and he's very excited, so you know who you are, Dave. Anyway, I was speaking to him, and I know your similar reactions to his. Now, neither of you have been dog owners in the past, so no, you didn't get that, but you were also, you poor bastard, whether we'll say fortunate or unfortunate enough that your second viewing of the film was with me on my first viewing, And so you got me laughing out loud, which I am wont to do. You got me just shouting out loud, as I am wont to do. And you got me losing my proverbial shit about the dog, because I am a dog person. I'm a dog lover. So when the dog did something funny or cool, or so when something bad happens to Crypto and he walks in there, I'm like, yeah, you laser his face off bit by bit until he gives you the dog back. That is what you do. And yeah, he was a little bit. He wasn't as mental as I would have been. Mm-hmm. But all of that aside, it was funny to speak to various people who were either dog lovers, not dog lovers, and it was a mixed bag. So I did enjoy the fact that he's a dog lover and he put the elements of a dog in there that me as a dog lover and dog owner appreciated. So that's just a little aside. I thought that was brilliant. I
agree. Like I say, that you're absolutely right. That was one of the things for me that I was like, maybe just slightly less Crypto. I think you've gone a bit too far with the Crypto.
Where I was perfectly fine with it.
Exactly, and like you say, that's totally fine. I absolutely.
He's a good boy. He was a good boy. He was a good boy.
I absolutely see it from the other point of view and understand it entirely. And like you say, James Gunn is a lover of dogs, so of course he's going to go a bit far with it, maybe, because no one's going to say to James Gunn, mate, maybe just rein it in a tiny bit, So I totally understand it, and like I say, it didn't. I don't think it impacts my dislike of the movie or anything like that. As I say, it's. You look at the third act in that film, and it's a Marvel third act. It's two CGI things smashing and smashing and smashing, massive destruction on a ridiculously insane scale, and we've explained away the human lives because apparently we can evacuate the entire city in 20 minutes. Yeah, you know what I mean? When you start picking at it, you go, guys, it don't quite line up. But, like I say, it's nothing Marvel haven't done 15 times before.
No.
And I totally understand why he went the way he did.
Yeah, it's very hard to, at this point in the superhero business, because let's face it, it is very much its own bag in Hollywood now. It's so far along at this point that we've had so many iterations of a Superman and a Spider-Man and a Batman, and it's when you're presenting these films, what's something new about it, and 100% there are things in this that we've never seen in previous Superman films before.
Well, I would argue the way it starts, again, it's my comparison for it was you look at Zack Snyder's bullshit movies featuring Superman. He is Kal-El the God. That is the version of Superman that Zack Snyder likes. Kal-El, the undefeatable God. And the problem with that is that as a human watching it, how do you relate to that character? Because they're an alien god. It's hard to relate to that. Whereas Gunn starts it with him being defeated, with him having lost a fight. Yeah. So instantly you see him beaten, bloodied, on the ground, and you go, oh, fuck, you're fallible. You're like me, you can be hurt. So instantly you've got a connection with him. You feel like you can get on the same page. And then I do think the best scene in the film is where he sits down with Lois and they do the interview. That is my favourite scene in the whole thing, because again, it humanises him.
Yes.
This man with godlike powers is dealing with social media trolls, It makes it so instantly relatable.
His reactions to her questions and her reactions to his answers and twisting them intentionally to get a rise out of him.
Exactly.
And it's that thing of you begin to see throughout the film, and more so even later, that she still sees him as Clark, but she very much views him as Superman. And it's not until you get to the piece with his family and they're in the farm home. And this honestly is one of the best representations I found of Ma and Pa Kent. Genuinely.
I love it.
And I think that's the thing with James Gunn. He does seem to have this innate ability of casting the perfect fucking people. John Cena as goddamn Peacemaker. Initially, that was supposed to be Dave Bautista.
Yeah, I was going to say, wrote
reports
it for
and stuff
Batista,
like
didn't
that.
he?
And the other person that he was like, okay, yeah, and that you can't now imagine anybody other than Cena as that character.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've seen him stack such great series and great films with these great people. I think that he just has this innate ability. So I'm curious to see where they're going to go with Superman, because again, Nicholas Hoult, I think he
he's
plays
really
a very
good as
different Luther. He's got elements of that Gene Hackman in there. Michael Rosenbaum a little bit as well. So there's different facets to that, which again makes it interesting. But that's the Suicide Squad is the unofficial 0.1 film, I suppose.
Like I say, I consider it as such because it's canon. But yeah, the start of his universe is essentially Superman.
So yes, I mean that's.
And then we've got, what is it? Is the Supergirl movie this year, 2026?
Supergirl, yeah, and then there's
Woman of Tomorrow,
Clayface as well
yeah.
that's being made.
And again, I like what he's doing.
He's
He's saying to people, "Hey, pick a character, pitch me an idea.
Yeah, give me a completed script."
Yep,
those are the operative words, and you bloody well can tell. I mean, I have qualms about the end of season 2 of Peacemaker, but I'm sure we'll get to that at some point, ladies and gents.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd base it on one of the least successful comic book runs of all time. I mean, that was almost the comic book run that stopped me buying DC at that stage. Yeah. It's one of the last things I ever collected was that run.
So we know the early parts, but him just turning around and saying, "I want a completed script."
Yep.
I 100% appreciate.
It's what he keeps saying about Batman, isn't it? Everyone's like, "Where's the Batman Brave and the Bold movie?" And he's like, "Script isn't finished." Yeah. Oh, cool. Makes sense. Yeah. Don't shoot a film if you ain't got finished script. Seems logical to me, but hey ho, what do I know?
But aside from the big franchises, which we'll try and get away from for a moment now, because there's been a lot of other stuff on the TV side. I mean, go
for it. No, I just want to say one more thing about Andor, because we kind of glossed over it. Please, people out there, all the movie executives who are listening to this, obviously, use real sets, please. Don't shoot everything in the fucking volume. Like, go and watch the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer. I was excited for that. I watched the trailer and I was like, yeah, but it all looks like it's shot in the fucking volume, doesn't it?
Yeah,
and
it does,
all looks a particular way now. Yeah. And, I think about Ahsoka and Mandalorian and the Acolyte and all of them in my head all roughly look the same.
Yeah, Star Wars style.
They were all shot in the volume. Whereas Andor, they used real fucking sets. When it was a wheat field, it was a wheat field in England in the height of summer. And they actually shot in a fucking wheat field. The amazing building that they chose for the Coruscant Senate, the outside of it, is somewhere in Spain, I forget, it's near Villarreal maybe. But it's an amazing looking building and it just adds so much because you feel it. It's tangible. You can get on board with it a bit more. Sorry, I just wanted to mention that. I really am a huge advocate for real sets. And the more time goes on, I was a big proponent. Go back and listen, guys, to when we discussed Mandalorian in the first place. The volume was a revelation because of how they could do CG and make it look so good now because of the volume giving them the right lighting. But as time's gone by and they've used it more and more, it all homogenizes into the same sort of rough look, and it's difficult to distinguish the different things sometimes because it is all shot in the same place. It's like I saw a shot of the Legend of Zelda movie that Nintendo were doing.
Oh, yeah.
It was Lincoln, just a press shot from Link and Zelda out in, I think it's New Zealand they're shooting in. But I looked at it and went, fucking hell. There's 2 live action characters in a real place that looks incredible, you know? And it seems strange, but in the modern day, it is strange to go and actually shoot in a fucking real place. It's why Fan 4 looked as good as it did at times, because they actually built that sort of central bit of Times Square where a lot of the action takes place. They actually built that down in Bedford in Pinewood so that they could have a real set to play around with. And it makes no end of difference.
Well, yeah, I mean, one of the other shows I was gonna pick out.
Go for it.
Oddly enough, I'm not sure whether you've actually watched. Again, this is the good fun, ladies and gentlemen. We have both been trying to not talk about movies and TV for quite some time because
3 weeks or something.
I think it's probably going back a little bit further than that because we would have these little chats, but then we're like. So Fallout, did you get round to seeing Fallout at any point?
Yes, I did watch Fallout.
So again, for me, a show like Fallout, you're describing that kind of scenario where you've got to have a real environment that looks broken down. Fallout for me is that kind of situation where they're trying to show a post-apocalyptic world and they have nothing but real locations that at times they have to use in order to do it, and they've done really, really well with that series. I've absolutely loved it. Walton Goggins. I mean, again, I've been an advocate of Walton Goggins for bloody years. The man has just been fantastic in most things that you ever watch him in. Ella Purnell, new, young.
Yeah, I didn't know her at all before.
British person that's done only a few things, and to see, suddenly be a big thrust of this. I mean, as somebody who knew about Fallout from the games and from that kind of gaming community, I've since played Fallout 76 and thoroughly enjoyed it. I know you and our good friend tried it for about 5 minutes and didn't enjoy it anywhere as much as me.
It's my own fault. It's my own fault. I did the rush ahead level up to level 50 or whatever it was, and I got overwhelmed. There was too much. I should have just done the grind as it was supposed to be done, and then I'd have learnt the mechanics bit by bit as we went along and skills and all that. I will say, the next time they do a Fallout, or if they remaster, I hear Fallout 3 is the best, a lot of people say, or Fallout New Vegas, which obviously the second season of the Fallout series is supposedly canon to that game and to the Fallout games. So that's going to expand a story from there. Like I'd like them to remake New Vegas because I'd play it. I think Fallout as a game. I've watched people play through Fallout 4. And it's very much my kind of thing, a nice chunky RPG with choices and factions and decisions matter and all that sort of thing. I'd definitely be up for it. I mean, Christ knows when they'd ever do another one as a brand new one.
Yeah,
they've been working on the Elder Scrolls 6 for about 8 years, I think. At this point.
This is a bit of a bone of contention with a lot of gaming fans that. Some of the studios, and unfortunately Fallout is one of those games, but you go back to the history of the Fallout games and it is an up and down very much. Even Fallout 76, which again is enjoyable now, and they've released new content, including the Ghoul.
It took them 2 years to get it there, though.
Oh god, yeah, it's taken, but they've now got it there, and because of the success of the TV show, they've been getting more people playing the games and buying the games, and as a quote unquote franchise, which again I'm trying not to, but unfortunately there's so many of them, it is really hard not to look at that show and go, wow, that was just great. Again, Walton Goggins, looking the way that he looks throughout that entire fucking thing is scary as shit, but it's so well done. And again, we're saying about Aliens and various other properties that are now kind of out there, and video game properties are surprisingly successful, as weird as it now seems. I remember the days of any time anybody would do a film or something based on a video game, it would shit the bed.
Yeah,
Mario last year before, 24,
24, I think Mario was, wasn't it?
Because one of the
Mario
biggest
Galaxy
films of the year.
April. Mario Galaxy is April 26.
Yeah,
which
so
is
I mean that was like second biggest film of the year. 23. Sorry, 23. Yeah,
was it 23?
That was second biggest film of the year.
Didn't realize.
Yeah. Barbie was number 1, and that was number 2. So I mean, that's a fucking huge accomplishment. And now we've got Super Mario Galaxy, the movie, is it? I think?
Yes. Yeah.
There you go.
It's a shame. I thought they'd do World first and then go for Galaxy. But just on that, they did a special announcement video where they announced who was going to be playing Bowser Jr. and who was going to be playing Rosalina. And I have never experienced such a damp squib of an announcement than when they announced those two. Because Rosalina is Brie Larson, who, as we know, is not the most popular actress around.
Which again, I don't know why I've got.
I've got no real problem with her.
This is the thing. I'm a bit like.
She doesn't seem to be well liked, does she?
Yeah, I don't really know why. Don't know why. But she loves the game. Like she's a massive fan. She's a huge gamer, and I think that's fucking amazing. Like I'm sure I saw an interview where she basically said, "Yeah, I dumped my boyfriend because he said I spent too much time on my Switch playing Mario." I was like, "Fuck you, fair play to you, girl. You just went jog on, son, jog on."
Yeah. And the person who's voicing Bowser Jr. is Benny Safdie.
Yeah, I don't know suddenly why the Safdie brothers, having been directors and one of them starred in Oppenheimer, they're now really popular. It's a bit of an odd one.
I didn't know that Benny was an actor, to be honest. I thought they were a directing duo, but obviously, what's his brother's name? Because he did Smashing Machine last year, didn't he?
He did.
On his own.
And yeah, he was in Oppenheimer, which annoys me.
Okay. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's coming up. I you know what? I quite enjoyed Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I thought that was a thoroughly entertaining movie.
It you know what? It took me a while. I think you talked me into it at one point, and you were just like, just and I did. I watched all of them, and I was like, they're not magical, they're not great, they're not. No. But you know what? They're entertaining. They're not for me. They're not for me, and this is the thing. I think a big problem about what a lot of people watch in this day and age and engage with and things like that. I mean, Christ Almighty, I speak to some of the young people at work, and they spend so much time on TikTok, and they have the attention span of a goldfish, so they have to scroll through TikTok. So it's really hard. When I'm having conversation with these people, because I'm like, I'm not sure sometimes who this stuff is aimed at. But that was certainly not aimed at me, but I still found it entertaining. But it's good. One show I will say that I think was aimed at both you and I, another Amazon show, which I would 100% say has thoroughly shat the bed, and that is the Rings of Power.
Oh God, yeah, Jesus! I hadn't even written that down as something we needed to cover.
But this is it. You got to give the highs of enjoyment. I very much with Fallout. I'm like, you know what, Amazon, well done, you did that. Yeah. I'll bring up the other one in a second as well. That I truly love. But to take on the franchise of the Lord of the Rings and shit the bed so massively is quite an undertaking, I must say. I don't know what it is that they have done. It looks as though, to me, at times, they've gone, right, who's never been a showrunner before? You'll do. Who's barely ever directed anything? You'll do. Who's only written some really crappy scripts? You'll do. We've got a half-decent number of actors, except for the guy who plays Sauron, who's thoroughly shit and is so god-awful. I can't... I struggle to watch any scenes when he was in it. I don't know where they went so fucking wrong. Like, the first season was middling.
I was on board largely with the first season. It wasn't spectacular, but it didn't do anything to make me go, oh my God, guys, what are you playing at?
But season 2 did that for me, and I have no wish to ever watch any more of what they're producing. So just to prove a point. And we will, rest assured, ladies and gentlemen, be doing a thorough deep dive into this truly fantastic, amazing animated series. You may have heard of it. You may have heard of me talk of them several hundred times in the past. The Mighty Nine. finally has come to Amazon. The second campaign of the Critical Role, guys. We will be covering Vox. We will be covering the Mighty Nine. But as somebody who is a huge fan of the campaign, and you were saying about world building, you want to watch a show about world building.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Holy shit. Like that's a world building in and of itself as a small undertaking. So if you've not watched it, and you're of an inclination to watch a good animated adult fun show with a bit of serious undertone, The Mighty Nine is for you. God, I can't express how amazing it has been. So
I am not up to date at this present moment as we speak.
We will discuss that later.
But
just to highlight,
do an episode on it.
Just to highlight that Amazon, again, along with Netflix, who are now buying bloody Warner Brothers, so we'll see how that all. We'll see how that all pans out. But the fact that they have taken a couple of risks and gone, with a few things. Some have hit, some have missed. The Mr. and Mrs. Smith series with Donald Glover was very, very enjoyable.
Yeah,
but
I enjoyed that.
Turned around and went, he's not coming back for the second season. What? We're having a new Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Interesting, but he's still going to help produce. Interesting. So, there's a lot of things which are changing.
Well, while we're on Amazon, then there's two films of theirs that I would like to mention that they're not the best movie in the world, but I tell you what, they surprised me. Heads of State, John Cena and Idris Elba playing the American president and the British Prime Minister, end up stuck together in an adventure. I really enjoyed that film. I thought it was funny. I thought it was entertaining. The action sequence when Air Force One gets attacked is actually really cool and impressive. I was very, very fond of that film because John Cena and Idris Elba, they just play off each other really well.
Yeah, which we've seen
good actors. They're really
Suicide
funny.
Squad.
Exactly. And it's just they bounce off each other so well. It's insane. And then another one, which I'll be honest, I did not expect to enjoy this film at all because of the cast. And I watched the trailer and I thought, what the fuck? It's a film called Deep Cover. And it's Orlando Bland. Sorry, I mean Orlando Bloom. That's an old Mark Kermo joke, that was. He used to call Keira Knightley IKEA Knightley as well, because she was so wooden. But yes, Orlando Bloom and Ron Howard's daughter. Fuck, why has her name gone out of my head?
Come on now, you can get there. I know it, but I'm going to tease you until you get it.
Bryce Dallas Howard. There we go.
There you go.
And what's his name? Nick Mohammed, I think, is the little guy in it. Who else was in it? Was it just the three of them? No, there was a fourth, I think. Anyway, I watched the trailer and was like, this looks weird. So Bryce Dallas Howard is running an improv class, and these people come along to her improv class, and then they end up getting hired by Sean Bean to go undercover because, they're improv comedians, so they're good at thinking on their feet, I think, is the justification.
Mm-hmm.
But it actually ends up being quite funny. I actually quite enjoyed it quite a bit, and it's actually Orlando Bloom is some of the funniest stuff in it because he gets really into character, and he likes to play this war veteran with a dark past and rah. Like he's actually quite funny. He's one of the best things in it. Ridiculously, the least funny thing in the whole movie is the guy who makes his living as a comedian, Nick Mohammed. He has these lines in it, and they're just, you can feel the tumbleweeds and the whistle in the background after he delivers a line. And you're like, aren't you the fucking comedian here? Why are you the least funny thing going on in this movie? But yeah, anyone who likes a silly comedy, have a go. It's actually quite funny. It doesn't look like it will be, but I promise you, it is. And Orlando Bloom is one of the funniest things in it.
No, yeah, I wholeheartedly. I remember us having a discussion about Heads of State and saying that was definitely a guilty pleasure the week that was out. So again, it does make me chuckle because I think Prime have definitely released a few good things, but for all the enjoyable ones that they've released, and then they release Red One, which might be one of the worst Christmas films in recent goddamn memory. I know, it's these things. Like I say, you've got to take the good with the bad. So it's funny because you say, oh yeah, this good one, and then oh fuck yeah, that really shitty one. The final one I'll mention, in terms of the Amazon stuff anyway, is there is one documentary which we will be getting to, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
I hope
absolutely.
You, like us, are perhaps children of the 80s, 90s era, where this man was at the cream of his comedic tops. I Like Me, the John Candy story, which was directed by Colin Hanks, helped produced by Ryan Reynolds. I have had the fortune of watching this already. It broke my heart watching the story of a comedian that I have absolutely loved since I was a child. He was one of those actors that when he disappeared, his presence... You watch the documentary, you'll understand that his presence is now missing.
It left
Hollywood
a hole, absolutely.
So many degrees. Like there are a few people that can fill that big of a void, and yeah, it's so we will be touching on that one, and we will again just giving them a little tease, just
some nuggets,
just some nuggets. So we will be covering the I Like Me, and then we will be doing a top John Candy's films.
Yes, absolutely
discussion coming out of that, because just go and watch it. Just go and watch it. So it's been a long catch, but there's just two more series, because I'm your TV series boy. Two more series that I'm going to mention before I close up. One, and if you haven't watched it, where have you been? It's called Shogun. And I'd forgot about that. Before, in the last couple of years, Shogun,
amazing.
Suffice it to say, it's a truly fantastic story set in the samurai era of Japan. All about a Britishman who kind of washes up on their shore and causes a bit of chaos for the lands. I don't want to give any more of that story away. Hopefully, if you're listening to this pod, you've probably watched it, because you've got good taste.
There is a joke, because I love the name of the guy who plays the British guy in there, Cosmo Jarvis. What a fucking name that is.
Okay, honestly, one of the best names I've ever heard in my fucking life.
Exactly, it's brilliant. And there's a joke going around when they were talking, when Christopher Nolan announced some of the cast for the Odyssey, and Cosmo Jarvis is in the Odyssey, and everyone went, "Oh, could he not get Tom Hardy?" So he got Tom Hardy's lookalike. Because I agree. I think they look quite similar. If you look at Tom Hardy next to Cosmo Jarvis, I think they look quite similar.
I think it's a Britishism as well. You look at a few British people and you kind of go, similarity. Yeah. So Shogun.
Shogun, again, amazing. I also, sorry, carry on.
No, I was going to say, so, I mean, knowing that there is a potential, as they've already done it, teased a second season. Now, Shogun originally was a show that was out, I believe, in the 80s. I think 80s, so,
yeah. 1980, 1980.
So this is kind of a retelling of that, but the success of it was so massive. I'd heard about the potential of how good this could be way earlier on than most, and I must say it really did get the standards that everybody had been raving about. So the fact that we've got another season, maybe we'll hold off on doing a big Maybe we'll hold off on doing a bit of a deep dive into that. I agree. Until, I think the only
obviously when you put Hiroyuki Sanada in anything, you've instantly elevated it another level. As far as I'm concerned, he is one of the all-time Japanese actors to me. He has been in. If you don't know the name, go and Google him. Look at his picture. I guarantee you have seen him in any number of things. It's the same with Graham Greene on the Native American side.
Graham
Greene is always the Native American guy.
I'm trying to the phrase. It's nice to see them get their flowers.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I totally agree.
And yeah, for a guy like that, when the series came out and all the awards and the acclaim, and you kind of go, well, it's about fucking time.
Totally.
Yeah.
I also just want to mention Anna Sawai, who plays Mariko, because all I'd seen her in before Shogun was the bloody Godzilla spin-off series. What's it called? Legacy of Monsters.
Yeah.
And
she wasn't very good in it.
And I didn't think she was very good at all. Yeah.
Or so I thought. She was
crap. And then I watched her in this and I'm like, fuck, you're actually
actually
really good.
Yeah, you're actually acting. You're actually acting as a petulant, bitchy kind of young girl. And then I watched that and I'm like, oh, you're actually very good. Yeah, I believe she's just been cast in the Beatles film as Yoko Ono. So that will be a fun role for her as well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But the last series, last series that I'm going to mention, and if you haven't already figured out by now, we're big old geeks, big old sci-fi geeks, and the best sci-fi geeky show that's still technically on because Expanse finished, Foundation. If you haven't watched it and you are looking for a huge world-building sci-fi epic show that spans centuries, then this is the one for you. My God, it has been twists and turns and such a thoroughly enjoyable watch. To watch Lee Pace be so goddamn good. Again, another guy who at some point will hopefully get his flowers because the guy is fucking phenomenal in this, as are the various other versions of that dynasty. Anyway, I won't get into that. But if you're not watched, I've talked about it in the past. Go and watch it. There's at least 3 series up there now. The 4th is going to be going ahead. Hopefully we are going to get a good few years of this. And surprisingly, is one of the most successful shows on Apple TV. And the one show that I didn't talk about, and mainly because I want to do a deep dive, is Severance, not Succession. Why would I like Succession? Go fuck yourself. Why would I want to argue about Rupert Murdoch-esque people? No, go fuck yourselves. Severance.
I've got to watch Severance.
I'm not saying any more than that because you've not watched it, and I know you've not watched it, so I can't talk about that.
No, that and Foundation are both downloaded in my queue. So yes, we will. When you tell me you want to do an episode on one, I'll get on it. Lee Pace was actually in The Running Man. When you said his name, I was like, shit, I've seen him in something not so long ago.
He's everywhere. He's in everything.
Bad
He's
guy
great.
in The Running Man. Okay, so 2 TV shows. Then are you done?
I'm done. Yep. You'll know it. Yep.
2 TV shows that I want to mention then. I'm not going to try and sell you on either. I'm just curious. Pluribus. Have you had a look at that
waiting again for a show like that.
Yep.
It feels to me as though I need its completion. I
don't blame you. I don't blame
digest all of it.
I am enjoying it week to week, but episode 5 ended on a total cliffhanger, and for a week I was going, because I just wanted to know what happened. No, I don't blame you. I think it's incredible. I am not going to say anything. I watched the trailer and came out of the trailer going, what? What the fuck's that about? And I think the whole show, I think it wants you to go in not knowing. I think, specifically, I think the pilot episode is built in such a way that it doesn't want you to know what's going on until it tells you. And it does tell you, it's not like a Lost, where it introduces all these mysteries that it won't answer for 4 years, if at all. It knows what it's doing. He's got his end point in mind. It's fantastic. I think it's one of the best series of the year. I think it's incredible. The other one that I know I've discussed with you in brief, and I know you won't get on board with this at all.
Yeah, I already know the one that you're going to say. No.
A shame, because you are a film guy, and you would love how filmy it is. So, The Studio. I think it's brilliant. It's such a great series. I will tell you, my least favourite thing in it is Seth Rogen. Absolutely. But everyone else around him, the ensemble, is so good that I care less about the fact that he is Seth Rogen being Seth Rogen. Catherine Hahn particularly, I wish she had more to do. I wish she was in it more often. She's like the marketing lady for the film studio that they're working at, and she is so fucking funny. It's nuts. She is brilliant. Like it's, you know, you got Martin Scorsese's in it, Zoe Kravitz is in it, loads of people. But the one episode, if I was gonna sell you on one thing, the episode, I think it's number 2, is called The Oneer. And it's about they're shooting a movie and Seth Rogen's character wants to go onto set because they're shooting a one take at the is it the magic hour? Like that time at dusk? I think they call it the magic hour. So they're shooting not only they've got to get the shot done during the magic hour, they're doing it as a oneer as well. And he goes to set to watch this. And it's about halfway through the episode, I realised what they were doing. And the whole episode itself is a oneer that is shot at the magic hour. It does a meta thing with it. And how they managed to do it, I just think is really fucking impressive from a filmmaking point of view. Because it's directed by Rogen and Evan Goldberg, a frequent collaborator of his. And say what you like about Rogen, but they have both got such a cinematic eye for things. And they love the nature of cinema in itself. That I just think they do a really good job with it. I think it's a great show. But I understand your reservations because I know you're not the biggest Rogen fan. It's a shame because I do think you're missing out on a lot of good stuff. But he is in it. He is the lead. He is in every episode. I can't sugarcoat that for you. Like I say, I just find that the other people around him elevate the show above the point where I'm like, no, it's Rogen. I can't handle you, mate. But I totally get where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's not like I didn't. Right, I attempted to watch it.
Yeah, no,
and
it's fair enough.
Very quickly found it was.
The first episode's difficult as well because it is a lot of Rogen because it's him taking over the studio, you know?
Sometimes some shows and those kinds of things, if I genuinely cannot stand the person in it, then I'm just not going to put myself through it.
No, I totally agree. I don't agree, but sorry, I totally understand where you're coming from. I get it.
Disagree with me, you bitch.
Yeah, no. Well, I've got a couple of other films, but you got anything else? Any films or anything?
No. I mean, film-wise, as I say, I mean, there's not been anything too amazing for me within the last couple years. I mean, there's been okays, but I've not found the magic that was once there. For me, the box office in general has been a bit lackluster. There's a couple of things which I'll be like, I'm sure that was okay, but I've not found anything of huge value.
No, and I understand that. Like I say, you know, me and my dad go once a month if we can, but there was 2 months, sort of September, October time, where I was just like, I know the tickets are free, Dad, but there's nothing I want to watch. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, I don't care that the tickets are free. I don't want to watch anything that's out right now. And then a glut came along all at once. But Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Have you seen it? Have you heard of it? Are you interested?
Yeah, no, I have watched it. I think it is. It's a passion project that clearly he's made.
Totally agree.
Along with Oscar Isaacs as well. You can clearly see the time, care, and attention they put into retelling of the story. I've got it's not a case of I've not enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. I thought it was very well done. I think it was very well acted. I think I don't know. It just. I haven't found it's just not found that spark within me. Again, This is nothing against the film. This is just me being in a bit of a rut with films. I find at the moment, I find some TV series kind of have this for me as well. Others don't, but you know. But as in terms of the film, I think it was beautifully shot. I think it was so well done. Yeah. It's a Del Toro film, so you can see the time and effort that he's put in to various shots and how he wants certain things to be done, etc., etc. I think the fundamental problem for it is that it is a retelling of a story I have seen several times before in several other formats, etc., etc. So I think that for me is just the only takeaway of it's a retelling of a story I've seen several times before. Again, if somebody was to do another Dracula, for example, or other similar ones, I'd be like, oh, okay, I've seen this before. So it's not a knock against the film. It's just didn't spark anything for me.
No, I'm kind of on the same wavelength like you. I think Oscar Isaacs is incredible in it. I like Mia Goth very much. I think it was Jacob Elordi who's the monster. I think he's very good. The sets are just incredible. Again, proper actual sets. You feel like you're there. You feel like you're in a dark, dingy castle with all these ridiculous old school looking technological things around you, you know? I got to be honest, it lost me about halfway through. Now, I'm going to prefix this by saying I have not read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I do not know what the actual story is like. But obviously the film starts with Victor, part 1, Victor's story. When they get rid of the monster the first time and then he breaks out of the ice and starts stomping back towards the boat, it was at that moment where I went, hang on, this said part 1, Victor's story at the beginning, didn't it? Are we actually going to do part 2, the creature's story? And the way it does it, just I laughed. Because, all right, this isn't exactly what happens. I'm paraphrasing, admittedly, but it's pretty much there. The monster gets back onto the boat and he's about to smash the captain to bits. And the captain says, okay, show me you are who your master says you are. And the monster literally stops as he's about to beat him up and goes, oh, so you've heard my master's story, have you? Then I shall tell you mine. And I was like, what? Hang on. Frankenstein, the guy, the monster that wants to tear people apart and shit. You're going to sit down and have a natter with the captain, are you? What the fuck? And now, like I say, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the book is exactly like this. And I know that the monster isn't the monster and it's all about redemption and and who's the real monster? Is it Victor? Is it the actual creature? I get the duality of the whole thing. But it took me out of it when that happened. And I just couldn't get back from there. I think the other thing I struggled with as well is that Del Toro, like you say, he's wanted to do this for a long time. And the problem is that he has shoehorned into every other movie of his, pretty much, the relationship between Elizabeth and the monster. In most of his films, there is a point where the attractive lady grows a kinship, affection, whatever it is, for a monster. Be it Hellboy, be it the creature in the Pan's Labyrinth, Lady in the Water. Like, he has used that many, many, many times. And watching this one, I was like, oh yeah, it finally fits in this one, because this is what you've actually wanted to do all the way along. And you've just shoehorned this bit into your other movies. So, didn't really work for me, that one, but I was interested to hear whether you'd watched it or not.
Yeah.
I think my biggest disappointment of last year was The Running Man. I was very excited for that.
Yeah, Edgar I know you were very excited for that.
Love Edgar Wright, big fan. Thought the trailer looked really cool and interesting. I like the Running Man idea. The problem is, you could show that to someone and say, if they didn't know who it was directed by, and say, hey, who do you think that was directed by? There is about 2 minutes of that entire film where you go, oh yeah, this is an Edgar Wright movie, isn't it? I feel like it's his one for the studio. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I think because his last film, I think, was a documentary on the 70s band Sparks. So it even sort of lines up that the studio went, yeah, you can do that one if you want, but next time, and he's just got brought into this room and they're like, right, here's all the stuff we want to do, pick one. Go on, I'll have a crack at Running Man then. And it's just not an Edgar Wright movie, and I really wanted to watch an Edgar Wright movie, and I was a bit disappointed.
Everybody is singing the praises of, is it Glenn Powell at the moment?
Glenn Powell, yeah, I like him in some of the stuff I've seen him in.
And that's the thing, again, it's that thing of like, oh yeah, he's the next big star, and I'm like, really? I don't see it yet. That's not to say that he couldn't potentially be, but I think that's the thing. It's like, oh yeah, this is going to be the film that, oh yeah,
the breakout performance, as it were.
And I'm like,
yeah,
no,
he hasn't had that yet for me.
That's lightning on a bottle kind of shit. Like, could you? Again, this is my problem again sometimes with Hollywood and that ilk. And you're like, could you stop trying to ram down the people that you want down my fucking throat? Because otherwise, I'm just going to resent them, and I'm not going to give them I'm not going to really. Whereas, unfortunately, they then start ramming certain people down your throat who you like, and then suddenly they're hated, like your Pedros
or like we had with Chris Pratt before him. Chris Pratt,
yeah, exactly.
His star built. Suddenly, he was in everything. Everyone got bored of him, and now he's on the back foot. And like you say, yes, Pedro is going through that. I'm in too much.
Morgan Goggins got shat on as well last year. You know, he did various things, and he did The White Lotus, which again, not a series I'd really ever bothered with. But coming out of then, Jesus Christ, it's like fucking hell, people. Like, they're actors. Can we not? Can we just remember that they go in the act? They're not like saints, and they're not people that we should be fucking bowing down and praising. Yeah, exactly. Just FYI. Exactly.
So, last one then. A very, very weird little indie film. If it wasn't a horror film, I'd suggest you should watch it, but it's not a horror film. So it's a film called Good Boy. It's an hour and 15 minutes long. It's a little independent film. It is a horror movie, but like I say, when I say horror movie, don't think slasher films, saw gore movies. It's cabin in the woods, haunted house style horror. So it's about what you don't see. It's about the noises in the background. It's about the door closing at the end of the corridor. It's more that sort of horror aesthetic, if you like. But it is a horror movie told entirely from the point of view of the dog.
You hate dogs.
I don't hate dogs. I just don't have a dog. It is brilliant. It's fascinating to watch. It's so clever what they've done. But it is entirely told from the point of view of the dog. So, like, you only know what's going on in the story because the dog happens to be in the room while one of the characters is on a phone. Like, the way they tell the story, because of the constraints they've given themselves, is really interesting. And I think it works really well. I really enjoyed it. And I mention it because, how did we start this whole thing? Oh, it's all franchises. There you go. Tiny little independent movie going, fucking hell, no one's ever done this. Let's have a fucking go. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I'm looking into it. Apparently the whole thing took 4 years to film because you're working with a fucking dog as your lead. and how you even start thinking about putting that together, I don't know. So fair play, everyone involved in that movie. I think you did a great job. That's Good Boy. There you go, everyone. That's the first episode back. You can expect another one at the beginning of February. Probably will be our ranking of the Mission Impossible films. I believe that's where we're going first. So yeah, tune in again next month for that. As always, if you would like to like and subscribe and comment and all that sort of good stuff on your podcast platform of choice, it all helps. It's all gravy. I suppose the last thing to say is that if you are new to us, if you are discovering us for the first time on this episode, hello, welcome. You are very much so. There are 49 previous episodes that you can go back and look at if you want. And those episodes will be starting to release on YouTube over the coming months. Because we had them on a previous YouTube channel, I've now taken them down off that YouTube channel and have set up a specific ScreenMasters YouTube channel that the older episodes and the newer ones will be getting uploaded to. So expect all of that to appear in front of your eyes and ears as it comes. Any final words, Fluff?
Giggity boo, giggity boo.
There you go. I've got nothing better to say than that. So for now, this has been Bav.
This has been Fluff.
And that was ScreenMasters.